Some say beauty is worth any price. Nicolas Fouquet paid with his freedom. In the cutthroat world of 17th century French politics, he made an unforgivable mistake. He created something more beautiful than his king could tolerate. While Louis XIV lived in outdated medieval palaces, his finance minister was quietly assembling a team of revolutionary artists to reinvent what architecture could be. Together, they would create something so extraordinary that it would not only cost Fouquet his liberty, it would inspire every great French palace that followed. Imagine the audacity, a mere minister daring to dream bigger than his sovereign. While the young Sun King held court in dark, drafty chambers inherited from his ancestors, Fouquet was sketching a vision of heaven on earth. He didn't just want to build a chateau. He wanted to create an entirely new language of beauty, one that would marry architecture, art, and landscape into a single breathtaking symphony. The whispers began almost immediately. Who did this upstart think he was, poaching the finest unknown talents in France? What kind of private citizen needed fountains that rivaled Rome's, gardens that stretched to the horizon, and salons that made royal apartments look provincial by comparison? As his creation rose from the French countryside, even Fouquet's enemies had to admit they were witnessing something unprecedented in the history of architecture. But beauty can be dangerous in the hands of kings. And in the glittering world of French nobility, there are some lines that should never be crossed. This is the story of how one man's vision for the perfect chateau became both the blueprint for Versailles and the key to his own prison cell. The majestic Château de Vaux-le-Vicomte rises from the French countryside of Maincy, setting a new standard for Baroque architectural excellence through its groundbreaking Château entre, cour et jardin design philosophy. Architect Louis Levau's masterwork exemplifies the evolution of 17th century French architecture, where Italian influences merged with distinctly French principles of symmetry and grandeur to create what historians now call French classicism. Levau's journey to architectural prominence began in Paris's Ile Saint-Louis, where his innovative row houses and private mansions caught the attention of the elite, eventually leading to his appointment as the king's first architect in 1654. At Vaux-le-Vicomte, Levau's genius manifests in perfect symmetry, with expansive windows that transform interior spaces into light-filled galleries, while a dramatic central dome crowns the estate's silhouette. Breaking from tradition, the chateau features an unprecedented double-thick main building with two parallel rows of rooms running east to west. The western wing designated for owner Nicolas Fouquet and the eastern reserved for royal visits. Levau's revolutionary addition of basement and first-floor corridors, virtually unknown in contemporary chateau design, allowed residents to move privately throughout the estate while eliminating the need for the typical grand staircase. Inside, master decorator Charles Lebrun orchestrated a harmonious blend of paintings, stucco work, and tapestries, with the Grand Salon serving as the pinnacle of French decorative arts through François Girardon's masterful statuary. The gardens, stretching over 3 kilometers, mark André Lenotre's first major commission and showcase his mastery of optical illusion and forced perspective, creating an infinite dialogue between architecture and landscape. Meticulously planned fountains, cascades, and a grand canal punctuate the grounds, revealing new visual delights with each turn as visitors explore the carefully crafted vistas. But behind this architectural triumph lies a tale of ambition, betrayal, and royal jealousy that would forever alter the course of French architectural history. In the glittering world of 17th century French aristocracy, Nicolas Fouquet emerged as a figure whose ambition would shape the very essence of Baroque architecture. Born in 1615 to a powerful family of parliamentarians, Fouquet's swift ascent through the ranks of French government culminated in his appointment as Superintendent of Finances under Louis XIV in 1653, a position that would both make and break him. His strategic marriage to Marie-Madeleine de Castile in 1651 brought more than just a substantial dowry. It connected him to the influential noblesse de robe, further cementing his position among France's elite. As his influence grew, Fouquet envisioned a residence that would reflect his refined taste and cultural sophistication, assembling an unprecedented artistic dream team: architect Louis Levaux, decorator Charles Lebrun, and landscape virtuoso André Lenôtre. Given carte blanche and unlimited resources, these masters of French design transformed Vaux-le-Vicomte into an architectural symphony that would later inspire the grand vision of Versailles itself. The chateau became a cultural epicenter, where artists, writers, and nobility gathered to experience the height of French refinement and artistic innovation. In August 1661, as the final touches were being applied to his masterpiece, Fouquet orchestrated a legendary fête in honor of Louis XIV, an evening that would prove to be both the pinnacle and the undoing of his meteoric rise. The celebration unleashed a spectacle of unprecedented magnificence. Molière premiered his play Les Fâcheux, master chef François Vatel prepared an otherworldly feast, and the night sky erupted with dazzling fireworks above a mock naval battle on the Grand Canal. Yet this display of artistic and architectural prowess sparked dangerous fires of jealousy within the young king's heart, while Jean-Baptiste Colbert, Fouquet's rival, whispered accusations of embezzlement into royal ears. Within weeks of the magnificent celebration, Fouquet's arrest sent shockwaves through French society. The same genius who had revolutionized French architecture through his patronage would spend the remainder of his life imprisoned, while his beloved chateau stood as a bittersweet monument to ambition's double edge. As Marie-Madeleine faced exile and the chateau's splendor dimmed, a new chapter in French architectural history was about to unfold, one that would transform Fouquet's innovative vision into the foundation of royal magnificence. The fall of Nicolas Fouquet in 1661 marked the beginning of a dark period for Vaux-le-Vicomte, as Louis XIV stripped the chateau of its treasures, from its opulent tapestries to its prized orange trees, all destined for royal estates. For 12 years, the chateau stood frozen in time until 1673, when Marie-Madeleine de Castille and her son Louis-Nicolas finally regained possession, though their valiant efforts to preserve the estate would ultimately succumb to financial pressures. Marshal Claude Louis Hector de Villars acquired the property in 1705, but under his ownership, Lenôtre's masterful gardens surrendered to wilderness, and the chateau's magnificence began to fade. The estate found new life under the Duke of Praslin, César Gabriel de Choiseul-Praslin, who purchased it in 1764, while the shrewd Duchess of Praslin later saved the chateau from revolutionary destruction by offering its artworks to the Republic. By 1810, Charles Félix de Choiseul-Praslin reimagined sections of Lenôtre's formal gardens in the fashionable English style, marking the first significant transformation of the original design. The chateau's history took a shocking turn on the 17th of August, 1847, when the Parisian residence of the 5th Duke of Praslin became the scene of a brutal crime. The murder of Duchess Fanny, found with multiple stab wounds and severe injuries. A trail of blood leading to his quarters and a discovered loaded pistol pointed to Duke Charles de Choiseul-Praslin himself, who, facing mounting evidence, chose arsenic over justice, dying on August 24, 1847. This scandal, which helped ignite the Revolution of 1848, plunged Vaux-le-Vicomte into darkness as Lenôtre's masterwork surrendered to wilderness and time's relentless march. Enter Alfred Sommier in 1875, a sugar industry magnate whose vision would transcend mere restoration as he assembled an elite team. Architect Gabriel Hippolyte Destailleur for the chateau's revival, and Élie Lenné to resurrect Lenôtre's legendary gardens. Armed with historical documents and original engravings, Lenné methodically reconstructed the garden's grandeur, while Destailleur's expertise breathed new life into weathered stonework and faded interiors. The Sommier family took up residence within the chateau's walls, personally overseeing every aspect of the restoration with an almost obsessive attention to detail. Each original feature demanded its own approach. Crumbling statuary required master sculptors, while the intricate water features that once dazzled Louis XIV's court needed complete mechanical reconstruction. In the gardens, Laennec orchestrated the replanting of entire allées, the resurrection of forgotten fountains, and the precise geometric reconstruction of Le Nôtre's revolutionary sightlines. Over 3 decades, Sommier poured 5.6 million gold francs into this labor of love, transforming a neglected masterpiece into a living monument to French architectural genius. Inside, each salon received the same meticulous care that Lebrun himself had once lavished upon them, with artisans working to restore gilded paneling, repair precious marquetry, and revive centuries-old frescoes. The restoration extended to the chateau's innovative double-row design, preserving the revolutionary spatial flow that had once inspired Versailles itself. By his death in 1908, Sommier had achieved the impossible. Vaux-le-Vicomte stood renewed, its splendor rivaling even its golden age under Fouquet. Yet as the 20th century dawned, bringing with it 2 world wars, economic upheaval, and rapidly changing tastes, the Sommier family faced an unprecedented challenge. How to preserve this architectural treasure in an age of modernity? Could a 17th century masterpiece adapt to a world of automobiles, mass tourism, and digital technology without sacrificing its soul? As the 20th century dawned, Alfred Sommier's son Edme and his wife Germaine Casimir Perrier inherited not just a restored chateau, but a sacred responsibility to preserve this architectural masterpiece for future generations. In 1911, they commissioned the renowned landscape architect Achille Duchesne to undertake a 12-year restoration of Le Nôtre's gardens, meticulously recreating the intricate parterres that had first astonished Louis XIV's court. But history had other plans for Vaux-le-Vicomte as World War I erupted across Europe, prompting Germaine to transform the estate's outbuildings into a military hospital equipped with cutting-edge radiography equipment. More than 3,000 wounded soldiers found healing within these historic walls, their presence honored by a visit from Prime Minister Georges Clemenceau himself on June 30th, 1918. The interwar years offered only a brief respite before German forces occupied the estate from 1939 to 1942, yet remarkably, the chateau emerged from this dark chapter with its artistic soul intact. In 1945, as Europe began its recovery, the estate passed to Edme's nephew Jean de Vogue, whose vision would revolutionize Vaux-le-Vicomte's role in French cultural life. Together with his son Patrice, Jean made the bold decision to open the chateau to the public on the 22nd of March 1968, transforming a private sanctuary into a living museum where visitors could walk in Fouquet's footsteps. The Vogue family's commitment to innovation continued with the 1983 establishment of the Association des Amis de Vaux-le-Vicomte, while Christina de Vogue added a new layer of refinement by opening Le Relais de l'Écureuil restaurant in 1985. Under the family's stewardship, the chateau transformed into an international cultural beacon, hosting film productions, scholarly research, and grand events that would have left even Nicolas Fouquet in awe. Yet, as a new century dawned, rising energy costs, climate change, and the crushing expenses of maintaining a 17th century masterpiece threatened to undo 3 generations of preservation. In 2012, as Vaux-le-Vicomte entered its 4th century, 3 brothers, Jean-Charles, Alexandre, and Ascanio de Vogue, stepped forward to guide their ancestral treasure into a new era of cultural prominence. Their first triumph came in 2017 with the painstaking restoration of Charles Lebrun's magnificent Grand Salon ceiling, breathing fresh life into the Baroque masterpiece that had once dazzled Louis XIV himself. Throughout the estate, thousands of candles now regularly illuminate the chateau's elegant facades during candlelit evenings, transforming the grounds into an enchanted realm where past and present dance in flickering harmony. Each Christmas season, the chateau dons a spectacular holiday mantle, with hundreds of decorated trees and shimmering garlands drawing visitors into a world where Baroque splendor meets Yuletide magic. Yet the path of preservation proved perilous. On September 18, 2019, intruders violated this sanctuary of history, holding Patrice and Christina de Vaux captive while stealing €2 million in precious artifacts. The incident only strengthened the family's resolve, spurring them to enhance security while maintaining the estate's welcoming atmosphere for thousands of annual visitors. Beyond its walls, Vaux-le-Vicomte has found unexpected immortality through the lens of cinema, its timeless beauty serving as the backdrop for James Bond's Moonraker, Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette, and the lavish television series Versailles. The silver screen has carried the chateau's majesty to audiences worldwide, as directors seek to capture the authentic grandeur that only Vaux-le-Vicomte can provide. The de Vaux brothers launched an ambitious decade-long restoration plan, tackling centuries of wear while embracing digital innovation to share their architectural treasure with a global audience. Virtual tours now allow visitors from Tokyo to Toronto to wander these historic halls, while on-site guests immerse themselves in programs that bridge the gap between 17th century grandeur and 21st century expectations. Each passing season brings new life to Le Nôtre's gardens, where modern visitors trace the same paths that once hosted the greatest figures of French history. In the kitchens where Vatel once created feasts for kings, guests now savor contemporary French cuisine, connecting past and present through the timeless art of gastronomy. Through revolution, scandal, war, and technological revolution, Vaux-le-Vicomte endures as a living monument to human creativity and persistence. 4 centuries after Nicolas Fouquet first imagined this architectural masterpiece, the combined genius of Le Vaux, Le Brun, and Le Nôtre continues to inspire and delight visitors from around the world, proof that true artistic vision transcends time itself. And now, we'd like to see you in the comments. Have you visited this masterpiece, or, after seeing this video, would you like to? We can't wait to hear from you. And thanks for joining us for another episode of Old Money Mansions. Cheers, until next time.